A big what's up to everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be relatively short. I just wanted to report some Sixers news in the time being and give my thoughts on the team with about 12 games left in the regular season. There really is not that much stuff going on with the team, but you guys do deserve a video every week. So without further ado, here goes nothing. So the first topic I wanted to address is the bench issues that have been plaguing this team since the Harden trade, and honestly, every single season since the process ended. There have been countless stats that have suggested that the Sixers bench has been outscored heavily by opponents during the last few games, and this might honestly have been a result of Glenn shortening his rotation, which is something we fans have been asking for a minute. The grass is not always greener on the other side. The only players that I have seen getting some real minutes in the second team is Niang, Green, and DeAndre Jordan. Shake Milton has been getting inconsistent minutes, and Furkan just has been benched altogether. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in the second unit guard play this season. Like, I honestly do not know what happened with those two. Like with Shake, since his breakout 2020 bubble season, he just hasn't played with that same confidence and overall flair. And I don't know if it's just me, but his shot just looks so weird, Joe. What is up with 76ers guards and their shooting forms? And with Furkan, dog, don't even get me started, bro. Not having a backup PG to help facilitate the actual offense has definitely really been a detriment to those two in particular, as they aren't solely able to create offense by themselves. Shake can still drive to the hoop for the whole most part, but he expends so much energy doing so that he misses his layup or floater. And in terms of Furkan, the man is just off. Like, that ball is just off after signing after signing a $15 million 3-year contract. Damn shame. It's just interesting to see that Glenn still refuses to let the young boys get some run, i.e. Isaiah Joe, which at this point is kind of whatever, just because the playoffs are around the corner and he has no rhythm up to this point, getting inconsistent minutes throughout the whole season. But damn, like, this most notably is shown with Rivers' refusal to show B-Ball Paul and Charles Bassey some love in the game, instead letting DeAndre Jordan get some minutes, which I do not understand for the life of me. So if you follow my IG page at the Beard and Joe Show on Instagram, you know that I am not the biggest DeAndre Jordan fan, though I do have to give him credit and some props for playing good last night against Dallas. But nah, bro, like, that boy is honestly washed in my opinion. He really gives nothing except size, which, I mean, sure, that's important for this team, but at this point in the Sixers evolution, I honestly think it is smarter to have someone back up Embiid who can bring a spark along with all the other intangibles that a backup five needs to have, which we have in two boys who don't get no run time. Out of those two, B-Ball Paul and Charles Bassey, I would put Bassey above Paul just for this specific spot. It's funny because I honestly wasn't even a Bassey fan either before the season began, but me thinking it over when he actually filled in during, that whole time where, like, Bulls was injured or out via COVID, he honestly looked like the prototypical decent small ball five, blocking, rebounding, energy plays, and rim rolling. A perfect fit next to one Mr. James Harden, but I digress. I honestly think management is trying to punish Bull, keeping him in the G League for the actual time being, for trying to hardball them into a large contract, which is what Bassey did last off season. Nevertheless, I'm sure we will see these two bigs get more run next year. Who would have thought after 2016, this was like 5 years later, the Sixers would once again be filled with hella centers. Shout out to the boy Jahlil Okafor and Nerlens Noel. But in conclusion, while I do not think that the bench will be that big of a difference between winning an actual championship or not, i.e. last season when the bench played horribly and yet we still had a chance to defeat the Atlanta Hawks, but we still majorly lost because a certain someone didn't hit his free throws. Regardless, at this point, it's clear that having depth will be the icing on the cake for this team to put us over the top, where we're like, Bulls really cannot beat us. I think we are that starting five talented. So expect some major offseason moves to revamp the actual second unit this offseason with vets, 3D players, and dog mentality Bulls. because that's honestly what we need at this point. A new change in mental philosophy while we are on the floor. Everyone is probably expendable other than Niang, Bassie, and maybe Joe and B-Ball Paul. But everyone else, you are expendable. Moving on, in an appearance on the Draymond Green podcast, Joel Embiid discussed his MVP campaign, drama of the number 25 situation this season, and gave insight on his life story. I got to listen to this joint on the ride back from Canton, Ohio, where my father and I visited the National Football Hall of Fame, which I vlogged, so be on the lookout for that video very soon. Throughout the full interview, which I'll be putting the link to it in my description, nothing hit me the most than when Embiid explained why he chose the moniker and nickname, The Process. I got pissed off because they ran Sam Hinkie, the former GM of the Sixers, out of town, and I knew that they didn't like all the losing and stuff. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to piss some people off, even around the team. People didn't like that word, the process. I started pushing the agenda because Sam Hinkie, drafted me. I was hurt, but he still believed in me. And that was really a common theme throughout the whole podcast. Like Joel was saying how he really had no confidence in himself in the beginning of his basketball playing career, which was like wild just to, hear. As a young boy, I think I was in high school at the time. I didn't really like nor want Embiid to adopt that nickname just because the process was more than just one single person. It was a rallying cry for an era of Sixers basketball that I held dear to my heart. I honestly thought that it was a selfish move, but many years later, I now understand that the sole purpose for Joel taking the process as his own nickname was to keep the memory of those teams and years alive for everyone to remember, which is what basically my mission has been, since the NBA forced the Colangelos into our organization once upon a time. So well done, Joel. I was wrong in my judgment. So yeah, looking at the playoff picture as of March 19, 2020, which is today, the Sixers are in third place with 12 games left before the playoffs begin next month, and only 3 games back of first, which is not a bad jaunt if you really look at it. And all I can say is that the East is wild. Like, honestly, look at this jaunt. Like, Bulls is going to be in for a wild ride come April, May, June, and what have you. Depending on if we climb the standings or not, the play-in tournament will truly be interesting. There is honestly a legit shot of us playing Brooklyn in the first round if they end up as the 7th seed, which at this point is whatever, The playoffs finna, be hard no matter who we actually play. Besides, the Sixers need to grow up and face some real competition. That is what championship teams do. No more scary shit, Other than the Nets, the only other team that I'm concerned for, if you even want to call it that, is the Bucks. But that's honestly only because they have championship DNA now. I'm not scared of the Heat. They have no superstar. They're just a very good and quality team-oriented squad, which I mean is like going to be hard to beat, right? Obviously. But nah, like, playoff ball is for superstars. The last championship team, which was built of a team style oriented play, were the Pistons, and this was back in 2004. Not scared of the Bulls. They're frauds, bro. We already know that. The Celtics, I'm not scared of them. Yes, they are doing well, and I have to give them praise there, but they're honestly getting all this media hype for being a good team, which they should have been all season, even though they were trash in the beginning. But now they're actually playing well with all the talent, or supposed talent, that they have. Like, why are we clapping for Bulls who should be doing what they're supposed to do? I'm confused. But that's basically it. That's all I really wanted to say in this video. The next 6 games for the team is a doozy. They got the Raps at home tonight, then the Heat on a back-to-back. After that, they will be traveling out west against the Lakers, Clippers, and Suns, all to come back home to face the Milwaukee Bucks. Another gauntlet schedule. I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to a brother think. Like, comment, share, subscribe with a Sixers fiend if you feel so inclined. As always, them boys are mad because the process worked. My name is Cain, and I will see you next time. Peace.